Einstein once said that time is relative. What does that mean exactly? He gave an example. He said if you put your hand on a hot stove for a minute, it feels like an hour. It means that time's only worth what we do in its passing. I think that's what he said. But maybe I should explain it the way I understand it. And what I understand is, for example, if you was to wait for a bus, right? It's 5:15, you're waiting for the bus, it should be on time. It usually is there around 5:15, but haven't showed up. And the reason why you haven't showed up is because it hit a person, killed the person on the way to you. And because now it's no longer 5:15, it's 5:40, it's 5:58 maybe. That means time has just passed you waiting for the bus that usually comes on 5:15. Because time is relative. Now, I understand that you have no clue what I just said. You probably don't even understand the analogy. And that's great because I honestly made it up and I had no freaking clue what I was going with it. But the point being is, time is relative. That is true. It's a construct to measure a point in time or a point in space between one action and another, like a moving car. All right, a car that's moving from A to B, and the measurement between the two is the minutes and seconds that we count for it to reach B, and it also depends on the speed as well. So the conditions dictate how much time it is for that car to move here to there. Like I said, with the bus killing the guy on its way to you, and so missing the deadline. So that is what time relativity is all about. Okay, and it's and what I'm getting at is the future set in time? It absolutely is. People want to argue against predestination, but predestination is a fact. One great example that is undisputable that we are all destined to die. That is predestination. You will die. Everyone will. Because we're destined to die. For people to argue against that, it's like arguing against air or oxygen or any factual thing. So time is relative. It is absolutely relative. But time exists in a set place. Now, does that make any sense? No fucking clue. I don't think it did. But what I'm getting at is I was watching Loki season 2, and Sylvia, the female Loki, was arguing with Loki because Loki needed to murder her for her to stop, to not kill, Genghis Khan, Khan the king, the conqueror, the guy who remains or whatever they call it, right? And she's arguing with this guy, with Loki, trying to justify the fact that she needed to kill him because no one should have the right to take away free will. But if you consider the fact that time in the future, the result of it, of whatever our choices are, the result exists. We just heading towards that result with our choices. Free will is also a mindset. It is something for us as each individual to accept as something real for us. But it's not really real. You get it? We don't know the choices we will make, but we have to be conscious of the choices we take or make, because the path is already set. Now, you made the right choice, you will get to that path or the result of that, to the end of the path, or whatever it may be. It might be an award, heaven, or a punishment, a condemnation, hell. Did I say is that right? Condemnation. Anyway, point being is, it exists there in the distance. Okay? You arguing, oh, well, if free will doesn't really exist, or if we're destined for something, then how is it my choice? It's your choice because you have no clue what that result is, and you're making the choices to reach that result. And now, if you're conscious, or if you're acknowledging, or whatever, there's no other word for me to think of. If you're saying, "Oh, well, I am the way I am," you just made that choice to be the way you are, a piece of shit, if that's what you are, or like you made the definitive choice, and that is set in stone because of you. All right, you might be able to reach the golden bucket of the leprechaun at the end of the rainbow, or you might reach the sewers in the end of the New York City highway, or whatever. I'm very bad at this, but the point is made, I think. In 1888, a man by the name of Louis Lee Prince, a Frenchman no less, recorded his friends and family dancing in his garden, and he called it I don't know if he called it that, but they coined that video, which is 2.11 seconds long, the round hay garden scene. He was the inventor of motion pictures. That was literally the first recorded images ever recorded in history. So how do I know that? Well, quite obviously, I Googled it. If you see my Google history, you'd be like, what the hell? You won't be disgusted, but you'd be like, why is so random? Who Googles people's ethnicity? Why would you want to know Pete Davidson's ethnicity? I think that's not even surprising. I'm pretty sure everybody Googled that, because that guy he's like a mystery box. Anyway, plain being is, I did Google that, and that's why I know it, because I like interesting shit like that. I was disappointed to hear that there was a Frenchman that created motion pictures, because I don't know if French people is like, they're okay. I don't want to say nothing bad, but you get my point though. But ever since then, filmmaking has evolved to such a degree. I'm talking about CGI and all these special effects, Jurassic Park, the Avengers, which is why I'm very grateful for that Frenchman, though it is hard to say that. But yeah, I'm grateful that he created filmmaking. The first person to actually create a movie and charge people to watch it was also, unfortunately, another Frenchman by the name of Louis. What a coincidence, right? In 1889, he created a movie called Workers Leaving the Factory of Leonardo, or something like that, I think. And he charged people to watch it. And possibly, quite possibly, and this is my own theory, and I think it's true, that a person amongst the audience watching this film was like, bing, I'm going to create another video of me having relations with these whores. And there it is, a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Stuff is funny like that. I just wanted to point out, like, from that ridiculous film of people dancing in a garden to freaking skyscraper-like degree movies. It's a beautiful thing. That's the only thing, literally, that what I want to share with you guys. I have no other motive here. Yeah. In the first Avengers film, Tony Stark fell out of his building. I'm not sure if he was thrown out by Loki or that he jumped out the building. I can't remember the sequence of those events. And I just watched the film today. Yeah, I got a very bad memory. It wasn't like that before. I think it's because of TikTok. Kids, don't watch TikTok. It really rots your brain. But honestly, deep down, I feel like it's really because I'm an excessive masturbator. But I enjoy it so much for me to blame it on that. So I'm blaming TikTok. Anyway, point being is, he's falling down 200 miles an hour. But thankfully, he has, some bracelets bracelets? Yes, bracelets that can summon one of his suits that can save his life. But that isn't the point. Point is, there are people down beneath the building watching the entire thing, and they see him falling, and they stay right there instead of getting out of the freaking way. Because, I don't know, freaking dumb shit. Like, I get it's a film, and you're not supposed to be taking it that seriously, but I feel like they're like thinking, hey, I'm gonna sue Tony Stark. How are you going to sue a man that's dead? It doesn't make sense, that part of the film. Everything else made sense. The Hulk, the aliens, and the wormhole in the sky. Everything else was perfect except that part. Why ruin a film like that? I don't get it. What was the director thinking by leaving that in?